Greetings to one and all. My name is Tanay Verma, and today, before starting my conversation, let me ask you a question. Why are we all gender biased? I'm quite sure that after hearing the words like gender and biased, we directly jump to some situations like some issues faced by women in today's world, maybe feminism or something like that. Now my friends, let me tell you 3 things that has probably caused us to think in a similar way. The first thing, the segregation. For this, let me go back a few centuries where 2 men, Anton Lavoisier and Charles Darwin, studied and segregated and categorized physical things around them. Lavoisier categorized elements and Darwin categorized species. After years, this same thinking was now infused in the minds of common men, or say the common human beings, and they also started to segregate things around them like animal or plant, humans or apes, female or men, black or white. This was where the seeding of thoughts like gender biasedness started to grow in the minds of the society. The second thing, the British happened. Now, it's not that simple that the Britishers came and they messed all the things around. No, but let me explain. Remember the person Johannes Gutenberg, the man who invented the printing press. After the printing press was invented, spreading information from one individual's mind to the whole of the society, and from society to the whole of a state, and from the state to whole of a country, and from a country to whole of the world became very easy. Now, this was where those thoughts like the segregation ones, like gender biasness ones, started to grow in young minds and common human beings. Now, the third thing also happened, which I call the gap. Let me ask you, what do you think the gap would seem like? Well, for me, I don't know how the sitting arrangements are made for kids nowadays, but 13 years back when I was in my KGs, this was the typical sitting arrangement. Here was the chalkboard. Boys were made to sit separately and girls separately. And this is what the gap is called, where the teachers roamed about. Now, also notice that I have showed boys with blue and girls with pink. This is because of 60 years of American marketing technique. Well, let me also come to the point that how can this be improved and how these thoughts of gender biasness or preferring one over the other can be sorted out in young minds. According to me, the person here who is in the middle, that's of course the teacher who roams about back and forth, is the most responsible, including with the parents and elderlies around these children. Now, being an elder, it's their responsibility, or better say, it's now our responsibility to teach and make these children understand what these terms actually mean. If you separate one from the other, like if you try to separate 2 colors, you are the one who is thinking for separating it, who is thinking of what the outcome would be if they are separated. But you won't be able to do that. And the same is with children as well. If you try to separate children on some certain things, like based on their sexuality or based on their talents, they won't be separated at all. Because children only do those things which they are restricted from doing. So if you separate them from the class in the classroom, they will find something or the other to get an interaction. For that, I must say, for that interaction is the most crucial part where these happenings cannot take place. Like if it's a controlled interaction in presence of the teacher, these young minds will now value the other person. Say the girls will value the boys and the boys will value the girls similarly. They will regard each other as an species rather than regarding one as inferior to the other. That's where we need to change. If we don't change now on these certain things, we won't be able to focus on more realistic problems in the world that are more prominent and more devastating than this. The National Crime Report of 2012 reports that in every 3 minutes there's a crime against a woman, and this is horrifying. Like, exactly, it is horrifying. It's before 8 years the report was made, and it's been 8 years from now, and I'm quite sure that rates don't decrease and numbers don't lie. So it's we who have to think and take a stand and bring a change in these young minds and as well in ourselves, so that we don't separate each other but combine collectively and work collectively for a better future. Thank you.